The Board of Commissioners meeting to order at 10:01. All those who are able, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, wanted to check and see if we had anyone from the public here for comment for items not appearing on today's agenda. All right, seeing none, any additions to the agenda from the board?
On board.
All right, moving on to the meeting minutes. If they're good, we'll take a motion.
I'll move to approve the minutes from the meeting held May 6th.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the meeting held on May 6th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We have our sheriff, Brian Samsel, and at least one of his staff people here for proclamation number 25, proclaiming May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in Center County. And Brian, why don't you take it away?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
How are you this morning?
Good.
Except rain again. So,
Yeah.
so tomorrow, Wednesday, May 14th, Center County Law Enforcement Memorial Service at the Center County Courthouse on the front lawn of Bellefonte at 12 noon. We start at noon. We honor 165 men and women who gave their lives in service of their communities, and we also honor the 21 canines who passed in 2024. Their selfless acts of courage especially demonstrated without hesitation time and again last year. This ceremony stands a reminder that those men and women who take on responsibility for the safety of their communities, these law enforcement officers are also fathers, mothers, husbands, wives, sons, daughters, friends, volunteer coaches, and members of your community. We do this job quietly, professionally, without any fanfare, and we perform this very demanding job daily. Every one of us in law enforcement made a commitment knowing full well that someday we may require taking the ultimate sacrifice. So I'm asking everyone to please join us tomorrow at noon. Center County Courthouse, front lawn for the service where we honor those who gave their lives in service of their communities last year. We also want to mention the 25 service canines that gave their lives in 2024 as well, as they partner with law enforcement family and many departments across the nation. So they're partners and friends, like most people have dogs and are their friends as well. So, but I thank you for having us here for the proclamation, and just wanted to give a brief little reading of it. And we honor 165 men. It's down, I think, a little bit from last year, so which is good, but it's still a lot of people. So. For just doing a job, so.
Well, thank you so much for coming, Brian. I know all three commissioners are, I think, planning on being there.
It might be a little wet,
As
so you might want to bring
Commissioner Dersham
some
said,
rain gear
bring
and
your umbrella.
Yeah, so.
But we do want to appreciate the 165 men and women, and as you were mentioning, the 25 canine officers as well, who passed away in the prior year, defending the public, directing traffic, helping people who are in auto accidents, et cetera. I appreciate everything they do for us. Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, thanks. That ceremony is really impactful and meaningful, hearing the names of people who are fallen and, just reflecting on the sacrifices they've made. And, you can't help but think that it, could have been your brother or sister or, family
Husband,
member.
yeah,
So,
the sons and daughters of the police officers who give their lives, it's tough on them as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Families are affected. Families are affected every day with this
Exactly.
job. I mean,
Yes.
you don't know when you're coming home. Most days, it could be a 12-hour shift, could be a 16-hour shift, or you might not come home at all.
Right.
So that's
Not
part
knowing
of
what
it.
your family member's facing when they're out there.
Yeah.
And Commissioner Dersham.
Well, it is a very somber ceremony, and it's important to recognize all the corrections officers, police officers, sheriff's deputies, federal and state agents and officers that serve every day.
Yeah.
And it's an event that if you haven't been here, it's worth being there, because it's very it is impactful, and that's probably as good a word as we can say. And it's a stark reality of the folks that protect us every day, that run toward problems instead of away from them, that we really appreciate the service of everyone in law enforcement, and it's our opportunity to recognize not only those that have fallen, but those, as you indicated early, that they go out and serve every day, and their families have to have to deal with the reality of what that means, and it's an amazing event, and look forward to being there tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all three coming. Yeah, we do it, we share the responsibility here in Center County. We'll all read, all the chiefs, some FBI agent will read all the names of the fallen and the canines as well. So it's a somber service, but it's a nice service with everybody involved. We get the DOC, state DOC does the honor guard, so it's a little mishmash of everybody tomorrow. So hopefully the weather will hold out for us for at least 40 minutes. If not, we'll speed the keynote speaker up a little bit to get us out of the rain.
Just bring an umbrella.
Yeah, bring an umbrella. So, but no, it's a nice event. We've been doing it now since Denny started this before, and we've just done it. I've done it for the last 10 years. So we're excited to get tomorrow going. So. The actual day is May 15th. We do it on Wednesday because of all the court people down there, so the officers can stay. We'll have a procession to the courthouse, and then we'll have the ceremony, bagpipes, bugle and everything, so it's nice.
Yeah, bagpipes are always a nice touch.
If you do see a long parade of emergency and police vehicles, that's the indication
That's
that
the
you're at the right
indication.
place.
It's going to start soon, too, so yeah. We should kick it off right at noon, so as soon as the bell tones in the courthouse.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Yeah,
Thank you. Well, the commissioners very much appreciate the peace officers who serve on county staff, but also the broad variety of relationships that we have with local police agencies, the state police, the corrections officers at Rockview and Quahana, and a broad variety of additional peace officers throughout the county.
Yeah, I don't know with the DOC. I think they take collection from Rockview Benner, I think.
All right.
It might just be one honor guard, but it's nice to have them come
Yeah.
down. They participate and they enjoy coming down as well. So I don't know if the Sheriff's Academy comes down sometime.
All right.
It depends on where they're at in the process up there, I believe, so, in the training.
Look forward to it.
Yes.
Good.
All right. Unless there's anything else on this one, we could take a motion.
Then I will move to adopt Proclamation 25 of 2025, proclaiming May 15th, 2025 as Peace Officers Memorial Day in Center County.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Proclamation number 2020, Proclamation 25 of 2025, proclaiming May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in Center County. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Well, Brian, come on up, and Aaron, are you doing the photos today? Okay.
I have a mug for you from the jail, too.
Okay, hey, I met Richard Petty.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, wow. Center on your house, Brian.
Buckle these.
Oh, that's still in the frame?
We don't have to get a bill.
Are we vaguely centered?
Yeah, you're looking. I'll take a photo. I can send you one.
Yes, I will cover it. Thank you very much.
You have that, sir. That was my question.
Yeah, I'm not taking for the
All right.
Pick these up, so
Yeah, I met Richard Petty and the county last week.
Wonderful.
We brought him through the county.
Richard Petty was there.
Richard Petty, he's 87.
Wow.
Yeah, he
So I
was-
remember
he
when I was a
didn't move around
kid,
too much.
so.
Yeah. Probably not racing
And
anymore.
Herschel Walker too, he was on the ride.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
gosh.
I met my football hero.
There you go.
There you go.
From Georgia.
Big day. All right, moving on to our next proclamation. Proclamation number 26, proclaiming May 14th and 15th as Center Gives Days in Center County, and so that starts tomorrow. So I think we've got, Molly, Melissa, and Nathaniel all here. Maybe, shall we have them over on these chairs so Gary can get a better angle? Okay, so if you'd sit in one of these chairs, or
Here, I'll
two or
give you-
three.
I'll give you my chair. Tell us all
Here
about
to take pictures mostly.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're all good?
All right.
I think we're good, yeah, we don't
They
want,
brought their own photographer. But this is big news for the close to 300 nonprofits in Center County, and I believe the overwhelming majority of them now participate in Center Gives. Very much appreciate what you've been doing here for the last, you'll have to tell me exactly how many years, but I'll hand it over.
yeah. Nathaniel, for you.
I think this is year 14.
14, all right.
Yeah. And to your point, we're excited to say that we have a record number of organizations participating this year. I think the number as of today is 232, which is an amazing number, and we're excited to have an opportunity to have the community lift them up. So Center Gives on centergives.org is a 36-hour online fundraising opportunity for the nonprofits in our county. Anyone can go online from 8 a.m. tomorrow, May 14th, through 8 p.m. Thursday, May 15th, and make a gift as small as $10 to the organizations that matter to you. We have, obviously, with that big of a number, a lot of different types of organizations, from animals to arts to education and human services, housing, all kinds of things. So you can find the organizations that speak to you and help support them. This year, we're very excited to have a $500,000, a $500,000 stretch pool, which means that for every dollar that's given to an organization, some of that money also goes to the organization and stretches everyone's money a little bit further. In addition to that, we'll have over $40,000 in prizes we award to organizations throughout the 36 hours. A lot of those go out during what we call power hours, where large and small organizations sort of compete in their own little pool, and the organizations try to get the most individual donations in that designated hour time frame. So every organization is available to participate in any of the power hours. There's quite a few this year. We've had a really nice swell in corporate sponsors this year too. So if people want to learn more about both those things, you can go to centergives.org and click on prizes to review the power hours and the other prizes we're giving out. And the sponsors page lists the many wonderful businesses that are supporting our efforts this year.
Great.
Wonderful, Molly.
Yeah, and I just want to say again, thank you. I know you guys have done this for us and recognize us every year, and we are thrilled as always, very excited to be working with the community to do this. We want to thank, as Nathaniel mentioned, our increased stretch pool is due partly, we're partnering with the Hamer Foundation, a local foundation, on that, which is again a wonderful example of generosity in the community. So we're excited to do that. And as part of our new strategic plan this year, we also did a lot more outreach, tried to do a lot more marketing and outreach, trying to get directly the word of Center Gives to as many households in the county as possible. So we're hoping not only to increase the amount that benefits nonprofits in what is a challenging situation for a lot of nonprofits right now, and so not only raise more money, but also just get more community members involved in philanthropy. And again, it's a very low entry, so that if we can get everybody in the county to just give $10 and participate, what a wonderful boon that would be to serve our local nonprofits. So we're really excited about that additional outreach this year.
Did I see an advertisement on a billboard?
Yes, that's right. We have billboards, we have the road signs, which we first did early on, and those are always really fun. We actually now did a postcard mailing, so that basically kind of residents across the county will have gotten postcard mailings, and of course many of the organizations do their own outreach, ads in the paper and on the radio. And I know Nathaniel was on the radio this morning along with Gary, another staff member. So we're doing as much as we can to get the word out, and proclamations like this are really wonderful help addition to that.
Well, it's wonderful work. I know you're raising millions of dollars every year now, and this is primarily small donations from many Center County residents, myself included. I appreciate you lowered the minimum to $10 because I like to give to dozens of
Right.
different charities.
Yeah.
And the $10 minimum really helps me do that without breaking the budget. But commissioners very much enjoy our partnerships with the local nonprofits in the county. The commissioners fund close to 100 nonprofits in the county, primarily human services. And then the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau Tourism Grant Program in cooperation with the commissioners assists another 70 human service nonprofits, but that's only 170. You're doing 232, which is tremendous, and we very much appreciate that. I'll hand it over to Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, thanks. This is always like such a big community event, and I think it's sometimes a way that people in the community find out about nonprofits they might not have even known were out there addressing needs that might be, important to them and that they'd like to be able to support. So it really is a great way to, demonstrate to the community how many different philanthropies there are out there and so many different needs that are being addressed by nonprofits in our community. And it's, a great way to participate, and the power hours often are kind of, like a fun competition that gets people kind of fired up, and that's been, I think, a pretty successful strategy as well. So, yeah, thanks so much for coming in to talk with us about it, and I hope to, for us to be able to help spread the word. So.
232 charities. That's, I guess those of us that maybe think about these thoughts, that doesn't surprise me, but I think the average person would be surprised that there are 232 organizations, particularly ones that will benefit from this, and that's pretty phenomenal. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than good luck, because that's
Yes.
trying to fund 232 charitable organizations that's a big lift.
It is. Well, and again, everybody in the county really steps up. And also, I just do want to quickly say, we are once again doing Center Gives Fest to close out the event
yeah.
on Thursday. So that's from 5 to 8 at Brass 16823. Is that right?
Just down the
23.
hill.
Yeah.
Right, very
Yeah.
close to here.
Yeah.
Not weather dependent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Last
Right.
year, we had to
Yeah.
pivot very suddenly, and they were very generous to let us in at the last minute, and it turned out so well.
Oh, yes.
So we just decided to go back there, and it's wonderful. There'll be food trucks, and there are 39
38 organizations.
organizations that will be there with different activities and
Yes.
fun things. It's a really fun thing for kids to come to, and
Face painting,
Yeah.
animals.
right, and then just also another great way to learn about the different organizations. And so I would encourage everyone to stop by between 5 and 8, and if you want to be there for the big celebration at the end, we'd love to see everybody.
Tell us about the process if somebody wants to give.
Yes.
How does that look?
Good point, Steve.
Yeah, so as soon as the starting gun goes off at 8 a.m. tomorrow, we invite everyone to go online to centergives.org, CENTREGIVES.org. And you can, if you want to, if you know exactly who you want to give to, you can search for that organization in the search bar at the top, or you can browse by clicking on organizations, filter that list by the category that matters to you, and find organizations. You can give multiple gifts to multiple organizations at once if you choose. You can also look for communications from your favorite organization, because they might be going for one of those power hours, and that way you can help them try to win a prize.
With 232 organizations, is there a little snippet below each organization that kind of gives a descriptor for what it is that they do?
Yes, you can read a little description. There's often a link to the organization's website and their social media, so you can look at what they're up to, what kind of activities they're doing.
That would be fascinating in and of itself,
Oh,
just to be
yes.
able to take a look at 232 organizations,
Yeah.
because I don't think people appreciate the fact that there's anywhere near that number of groups that are doing good work here in Center County. It's amazing.
Pretty incredible. I could also mention, if you're not the sort that likes to use credit cards online, you can call us 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Wednesday and Thursday, or leave us a voicemail overnight if you want, and we'll be happy to take your donation or answer your questions over the phone. 814-237-6229 is that number.
Great.
Yeah, I usually block off an hour, and I start at A and I go down to however close to Z that you happen to get on the list. And then the total comes up, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna hit send.
It really is. It's fun, and every year I hear, people that have gone on and they're like, "Wow, I didn't know there was an organization," and that happens
Yeah.
to us. New organizations sign on. It's like, I didn't know there was somebody doing that. That's really great work. So it is really fun to see all the amazing work that's being done in the county.
Well, thank you for all that.
Yeah,
Any
thank you.
questions from the press?
Molly, first year you did this, you raised how much?
It was in the range of 600,000. that we had all together. So it's grown exponentially.
The first year, there must have been some kind of discussion about how successful this is going to be.
There was, there was a lot of discussion. People were not quite sure it would even work. I think one of the, it's hard to believe now, but one of the reasons we started this was because we were trying to convince local nonprofits of the importance of being online and having websites and being in social media. That there was, and we had a lot of pushback of like, no, we're not going to raise any money online. Like, that's really not that important. And we said, well, we think it is. It's just a little incentive to get people inspired. There were organizations that we helped them, connect them with somebody to get a website put up or get on Facebook, because a lot of them weren't online at all. And so that's very different now. Obviously, that's evolved. But yeah, it's really been, that was, and we still are trying, part of what we do is, Nathaniel, does a lot of workshops. The whole staff is really supportive of helping the organizations be better fundraisers, not only for Center Gives, but just in general, because that's an important part of what we do too.
Has there ever been any thought of doing this more than once a year?
We haven't really thought of that ourselves. Once a year. We do, I know many of the organizations will also participate in Giving Tuesday, which is around Thanksgiving. Because that's sort of its own organization and structure, we encourage people to do that. But we haven't thought about doing it more than once a year.
Touching on one of the things Molly mentioned, though, with the trainings that we offer, one of the byproducts that I've really noticed, I'm kind of new in this job, is how much excitement the organizations have to be working with each other and brainstorming and coming up with ideas and things. And so we are talking about looking at expanding those opportunities beyond just preparing for Center Gives and seeing how we can help the organizations help each other a little bit more.
Yeah. And one of the other things we're looking at in the future, again, as part of the strategic plan, is taking more advantage of one of the things that Steve said about the great information on that site, and so that the site becomes more of a year-round resource for anybody in the county to go to. The organizations are still all there, but we really want to enhance how they're portrayed, and so we will be looking at ways to enhance that and make it a resource that's easy for people to go to any time of the year, just to say, well, I wonder if I want to support this or that organization, how can I get there?
When they're listed on your site, is there a link to their website so you can, that's a great resource.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very, very well thought out, and it's kind of a smooth operating machine at this point.
It is.
Did want to mention that since 2012, this event has invested just shy of $20 million in our local nonprofits. And I know that's critical funding for them. They're often using that as match to pull down state and federal grants, or to start new programs, or to seed new projects, which obviously is critical for continued growth. Great questions, Gary. Anything else?
No, I don't want to keep our esteemed district attorney any longer. So
Okay.
I have no further
All right.
questions.
Okay. All right. Unless there's anything else, I think we could take a motion.
And I will move to adopt Proclamation 26 of 2025, proclaiming May 14th and 15th of 2025 as Center Gives Days in Center County.
And I will second it.
We have a motion and a second adopting proclamation number 26, proclaiming May 14th and 15th as Center Gives Days in Center County. And you can go to centergives.org, right? To give, or you can call the phone number in case you're a little wary of credit cards over the internet. Great.
Great, sounds good.
All right, let's come to the photo. Further this time. And just a pinch further over, because there's three of you. Have Molly on Bellefonte. There we go. Are we centered here? We're close? All right.
Got us all?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks so much again for doing this. Thank you so much. So good to
Yes,
see
indeed.
you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Now, as we turn the page here, I think we're about to talk about what I think is the largest nonprofit in Center County that is about to invest possibly hundreds of millions of additional dollars on top of the close to $1 billion you've already put into the county over the last couple of years. So we'd like to welcome Tom and Brian from Mount Nittany. Thank you very much for coming, and why don't you explain to the public why you're here today?
Well, thank you, and good morning, and thank you for having us on today's agenda. I'm Tom Schrack. I'm the solicitor for the Center County Hospital Authority. Here with me is Brian Roach from Mount Nittany Health. The authority, as the board knows, handles projects for the benefit of Mount Nittany Medical Center. We're excited about this project, and this one is rather specific in nature. It involves tax-exempt equipment lease financing. And the project specifically, and I'm not going to read it in depth, there's a proposed resolution that we provided to the solicitor for review, and I assume it's in the packet, so I won't go through that line by line. But essentially, the main components of the project are the acquisition of an enterprise resource planning system to be used in the medical center's operations, and also the acquisition and implementation of an electronic medical record, or EMR, system as well, and there's some other aspects of the component, but they're the primary focus of it. The lease transaction will involve financing with Bank of America. So Bank of America will be the lessor under the lease. The hospital authority's role in this is to be essentially a conduit lessee. The hospital authority will enter into the lease, and then there's a sublease to the medical center and also the physicians group. So the medical center and the physicians group will be paying all of the lease payments once the equipment is acquired, and that equipment is identified in an equipment schedule that's attached to the master lease agreement. So the authority has held a public TEFRA hearing on April 15th to solicit comment from the public. After that, the authority held its board meeting, unanimously approved the project, and as you're aware, it's part of the Internal Revenue Code requirements that we come here to seek approval of this board as well as the applicable elected representatives under the Internal Revenue Code, essentially finding that the project would benefit the health, welfare, and safety of the residents in the community. So we are here seeking a motion to approve this resolution and also to ratify the holding of the TEFRA hearing and the advertisement of the hearing as well by the authority. We're certainly happy to answer any questions regarding the project if Brian is here as well, but we think it's a good project. We certainly think the authority thinks that it's going to benefit the hospital based on the feedback that we got from Brian. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming. And it sounds like this is primarily an investment in technology, computers, software, keeping up with the times in those areas.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Yeah.
You're not sneaking a little construction in there somewhere?
No.
No? Oh, all right.
Enough
There's some
construction.
medical equipment,
There's some medical equipment.
but
All
not
right.
construction. This was
Okay.
very specific to
All right.
lower life assets.
Okay. All right. Which are still important, of course.
They are.
Yeah.
I do have to ask, what electronic medical records, we've all seen that evolve. How complex truly is that system?
It's very complex. So it interfaces with the other technology platform that we actually have already implemented. It's ERP. So think of the ERP as everything business, supply chain, finance, HR, and think of the EMR then as everything in the medical record space, the revenue cycle, the billing, the patient experience up front to schedule an appointment. That's all encompassed in the EMR.
And I'm sure a big part of that revolves around confidentiality and HIPAA and making
It
sure
does.
that everything is specifically protected from
It is.
intrusion.
Not only just the information themselves, but the systems as well.
Oh, I can see where that would be quite a project. So,
And the implementation on your end will be a lot of work.
Yes. We are planning to go live May 30th of next year
Okay.
Ooh,
with
one
the
year.
EMR, and we went live
Wow.
with the ERP January 1st of this past year,
All right.
Great.
Major changes.
setting the foundation for growth.
Very good.
Good.
Good. Commissioner Concepcion, anything else you'd like to
Sounds
add?
good.
All right. Commissioner Dershowitz?
One last question.
All right.
That really big crane or two that you have up there on the site at the hospital,
Yes,
when's that project gonna wrap up?
next summer.
All right, 'cause that's a huge one too, so.
Yeah, Patient Tower,
Yeah.
$350 million investment back into the community. It'll be next summer. We'll open up the main level
Yeah.
and the patient floors, and then start to transition our operations there.
Wow.
I expect the views will be tremendous.
They are very nice.
And hopefully it'll be at least as nice as your Grays Woods facility, which is also
Yeah,
tremendous.
Top Trees is
Yes.
is a nice building if folks
Yes,
haven't
sorry,
been there.
wrong location, Top
Yeah.
Trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Great. Any questions from the press on this?
What's this mean for patient services, this project?
I think it's going to be better access, better experience for the patient and the community to receive care. Better experience for our caregivers to document the medical record as well.
Mr. Dershowitz mentioned confidentiality. Is there built-in protections too from hackers, that type of thing?
Yes, on top of the already security posture we take with our partners to keep all of our IT systems and infrastructure safe.
Thank you.
Great.
Great.
All right. Unless there's anything else, I think we could take a
All right.
motion to adopt.
I'll move to adopt Resolution 7 of 2025.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution Number 7 of 2025. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose nay. Motion carries. Thank you very much for coming. Appreciate
you.
everything
Yeah, you
the
guys just keep
hospital and
growing,
the physician groups does for the county.
Appreciate everything.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great, thank
Pleasure
you.
too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Project.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Good to see you again. It's been a couple days.
I know, it's been a couple days.
Good to see you.
See you, Kurt.
Sure.
See you, Tom.
Take care.
All right, moving on, because we don't want to keep our esteemed DA waiting too long. Jonathan has a building moving services RFP update.
Yes, good morning. We received one complete package for the building moving services RFP for moving all of the offices from the Willow Bank and Summit Park to the community services building later this summer. That was from on-demand services that have quite an extensive resume of moving government services. So this morning I am asking for your permission to enter into contract review and negotiations with them.
And Jonathan, as I remember, thankfully they came in sort of under our budget, so we're pretty happy about that.
Correct. They were substantially under budget by about $80,000.
Nice, nice. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
No, sounds good. Good they came in under budget.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're already in the process of looking at their, at their reputation and their work performance with other organizations.
Correct. Following this, I will reach out to their references and just ensure they are a good fit for our
Perfect.
services.
All right, good work.
Wonderful. All right, we'll take a motion, I think.
I'll move to enter into contract review for the Community Services Building Moving Services RFP.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to enter into contract review for the Community Services Building Moving Services RFP. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Jonathan.
you.
Thank you.
And then do we have Quentin stacked up there in the hallway? He's here to talk about the Center County Meals Program. I believe it's the Meals on Wheels program, right?
The home delivered meal
Delivery meals.
program for Center County.
Sort of like that.
Sort of like that.
Yep. So the home delivered meal, the home meal program for Center County, this is basically through the Older Americans Act, authorizes us to provide meals to older adults 60 and over. In Center County, we provide in-home meals, we provide congregate meals, which is a hot meal at our senior centers. And then we also provide shelf-stable meals, which are the meals we provide if we have bad weather and they're able to use that meal instead of a home-delivered meal that day. So we are requesting to approval for advertisement for the Center County Meals Program, information for bid.
Great, I expect this is probably, what, tens of thousands of meals per year?
78,000 meals we are approximating
Wow.
total that this agreement will be per year.
So if there are organizations out there that would love to prepare 78,000 meals per year, we're hoping you'll contact Quentin and get more information.
Yep, we're really hoping we get a wide variety of bids.
Wonderful. Commissioner Concepcion, any questions?
Yeah, thank you. This is an essential service for our seniors.
Yep.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
No, I'm good.
Great.
Then I will move to approve advertisement for the Center County Meals Program, IFB.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the advertisement of the Center County Meals Program invitation for bid. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you so much, Quentin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now for our esteemed district attorney. Bernie Cantorna has a contract with the Pennsylvania State Police.
Yes, thank you. Good morning.
Morning, Bernie.
This is this would be a renewal of the contract that we entered into last year. Fully funds a county detective that works in conjunction with the Pennsylvania State Police in their task force directed at auto theft. May sound like it's auto theft, but it's actually a wide variety of what are organized criminal activities throughout the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
So we get a very qualified detective in the office with all of the access to all of the tools that the state police have, and his expertise and knowledge as it relates to warrants and surveillance and electronics. And it seems like every time you turn, there's a new security device on electronic devices that thwart law enforcement's efforts to try and find out what people are doing. So it's a valuable resource which comes fully funded by the Pennsylvania State Police. So I'd be asking for a renewal of that contract this year.
Great, thank you, Bernie. We appreciate the partnership with the Pennsylvania State Police and with two interstates in the county. The crimes might not originate here, but they're definitely passing through the area.
Yeah, they are. When you talk about the organized crime as it relates to the theft of things that move,
Yes,
it's pretty extensive.
yeah. Commissioner Concepcion, comments and
Yeah,
questions?
no, it seems like a good collaboration with the state.
Yeah, we're lucky they came asking in. I'm glad that we have that resource going forward.
Yeah. Commissioner Dershowitz, anything?
Well, actually, I have to congratulate, I mean, this is not only an amazing program for Center County, but this has outreach well beyond Center County. This detective works regionally with the
Yep.
police departments throughout literally central Pennsylvania.
Many of these cases end up going federal. So they're pretty, they're very broad, they're wide-ranging, and they can be pretty extensive. So it is a wide variety.
But he is based, or they are based out of your office and.
Yep, yes, exactly. Shares office space with our current county detective. So really, there isn't any added cost to the county. He is there, he shares office space, and works throughout the Commonwealth.
And he acts as a resource on other matters beyond, I'm sure, auto theft if you.
Yep, yes,
require
some of our more
resources.
complicated cases where we need to get into people's electronics and discover where people have been and what they've been doing and what they've been saying to each other. He's a real asset in that regard.
That has real value.
Yes.
I appreciate your putting this together and making it work.
Do
Thank
you have
you.
any questions, Gary?
No, Mr. Cantor told me I will have no further questions. I have no questions.
Okay, all right. Okay.
It's a first. There you have it.
Yep. All
I
right.
think we could take a motion then.
I'll move to approve the agreement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania acting through the Pennsylvania State Police.
And I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agreement with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, acting through the Pennsylvania State Police. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. Great.
Thank you.
Bernie. Appreciate it.
Thank
Good luck. Have a great day, folks.
Thanks. And now Jonathan has another project for us involving CoStar's contract.
Yes, for the Community Services Building, I am seeking your approval of a CoStar's contract with Berkshire Systems Group to provide equipment and installation for fire alarm monitoring at the Community Services Building. This contract totals $3,726.80 for the first year, and following years will be $760 for the monitoring.
Oh, seems like a
Very
good price for the size of the building.
Yeah. Yeah, any questions from other commissioner on that one?
No,
All right.
that's reasonable.
I'll move to approve the contract with Berkshire Systems Group, Inc.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Berkshire Systems Group, Inc. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we have two items from the Controller's Office, and here's Jason Moser.
Good morning. Thank you for
Morning.
having me this morning. Before you today, I have two items. Both are budgeted for this fiscal year. The first one is consideration for approval of the contract with Milliman to complete the county's GASB 75 valuation for fiscal years 24 and 25. This is related to other post-employment benefits, so the health insurance plans we offer for retirees, et cetera. We have a few still on the plan and a few that accept it if they meet the requirements. The contract total is $21,703, and this is for the year 2024 will be a full valuation year, so that'll be $16,277 for that portion of the contract.
Okay.
And then 2026 is a partial, or 2025, I'm sorry, is a partial year, and that'll be an interim projection for $5,426, getting to the total of the contract.
So that is for 2 years then?
Yeah, and it is a requirement of our annual countywide audit as well. It's GASB 75.
All right. All right. Any additional questions?
No.
The other commissioner?
No.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the contract with Milliman.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Milliman. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And Jason, I think we're doing something with the row officers too.
Correct, yeah, so this is just, it says addendum, it's actually more of the engagement letter with Meyer Dissel. This is part of our contract with Meyer Dissel as well to assist in the completion of row office audits as we continue to catch up and refine that process. And this is for just the period of this year from May 22nd, 25 through December 31st, 2025 for the 2024 fiscal and calendar years. And it is at a rate of $150 an hour as needed as we move through those audits.
Great. Well, that sounds like a good idea. Some of those row offices are now a couple $1 million operations in their own right.
Correct. We have pretty robust row offices right now in the county.
Any questions, Commissioner
No,
Concepcion?
sounds good
Commissioner
plan.
Dershowitz? All right.
I'll move to add the contract addendum with Meyer Dusel to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract addendum with Mayor Dusel to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Have a great
coming,
day.
Jason. And then Chad has two items. The first one's for record management.
Yeah, good morning. First item is with records. It's a contract consideration with Advanced Shipping Technologies to facilitate the transfer of approximately 5,000 boxes of county records from our facility in Iron Mountain to our new community services building. And so this process will take about 6 or so months to complete, with an estimated about 200 boxes delivered per trip. And so the contract total for all 5,000 boxes will be $22,483.50.
Sounds great, Chad. This was part of our ongoing efforts to reduce the county's costs because the basement of the community services building is quite extensive. And as you mentioned, we have room for approximately 5,000 boxes there, which will also improve services to the courts, row offices, and other parts of county government, because now we could retrieve information in a few business hours instead of a couple days.
Yeah.
And over time, it will also allow us to scan some of the more important documents easily.
Yeah, this is about a third of all of our boxes at Iron
Yes.
Mountain, so it'll reduce our storage costs there, as well as our weekly transactional costs when we have to request for a file or a box to be pulled and delivered to here in Bellefonte. So,
All right. Any questions, Commissioner Concepcion?
Sounds okay.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I presume those 5,000 boxes are kind of the strategic boxes that are most often accessed, so it'll,
yes, that's exactly what they are. The boxes for the offices that will be housed at CSB, as well as the offices that we see the highest transactions count from to kind of greatly reduce those weekly transactional
yeah, that'll
expenses.
save us a lot of money.
Yep.
Good job.
Thanks. Looks like we can take a motion then.
All right, then I'll move to add the contract with Advanced Shipping Technologies to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Advanced Shipping Technologies, Inc. to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries, and now we have, Chad's got some items for information technology.
Yes, this item for consideration is with Verizon for POTS lines, stands for plain old telephone service. Essentially, it's the old copper line, style line that would be used for kind of backup emergency style should we have an internet outage, power outage, things like that. It would add an additional line of communication to Willowbank, Courthouse, the Annex, Sheriff's Office, Transportation, Correctional Facility, Community Services, and the NBJ Bellefonte. And so the monthly cost of a line total for all these locations is $406.22. There's a $400 startup fee, and the 3-year total for these lines is $15,023.92.
And of course, with the recent weather, I don't suppose we're going to have a whole lot of questions about this item.
Yes,
But-
we have a few of these throughout buildings,
Yeah.
but these are just kind of extra lines and putting them in some that don't currently have.
Yeah.
So if the electricity is down and the cell towers are affected as well, you can still use the phone.
That's right, yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, I think Gary and I were both smiling at the same time at the plain old telephone
Yeah.
Yeah.
service.
Yep.
We can relate,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully nobody has one of those Captain Crunch whistles that'll let you make free long-distance phone calls.
This isn't VoIP then.
This is not.
No.
It's old
This is
copper.
Basic copper.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm assuming they don't have a little rotary dial on them now.
We could get those if
could
we
get
wanted
those.
to, yes.
All right.
Yeah, well,
Have an extra 5 minutes to dial.
Yes.
Right.
We can get whatever phones we want for these, so,
right.
yeah.
How about a princess phone?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
An old bell phone.
Yeah.
All right. Then I will move to add the contract with Verizon to next week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Verizon to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great.
All
Thanks,
right,
Chad.
Thank you.
And
So
now,
we can't get a phone booth in the,
oh boy,
See,
when
that
one of
would
those
be
British
fun.
ones, you
Yeah.
know, painted red.
Yes.
Wow.
just saying,
Superman could show up and
Right,
change.
There you go.
exactly.
Yes.
let's bring it all back.
All right, and then something a bit more serious, we have a layout from Children and Youth Services, where a lot of your staff are supermen and superwomen.
Yes, we try to be, for sure,
Yes.
sure. Good morning. So this morning before you, I am asking for your consideration for the approval of a contract with Lean In Systems and Solutions. They would provide consultant services for supporting our workforce, retention and professional developments, creating a support plan for us across our agency. We would intend to utilize our Family First Transition Act funds to pay for this service, so there are no county dollars associated with those funds. Those funds expire at the end of June, and so we were granted an extension last year to utilize the funds throughout this fiscal year with an expiration of June 30th of 2025. And those funds were specifically allotted to counties to support workforce retention. So Lean In Solutions has been providing services through several counties throughout the state of Pennsylvania to help support their workforce. And so for us, we would be looking at Lean In Solutions to help us with some field coaching and increase our problem-solving skills, as well as create and enhance our collaboration amongst our agency as well as our service providers. They would also provide a service that they call the Line, and that service is a tech support line where staff of all levels can reach out if they're struggling. Maybe they had a rough day in the field, or they're struggling with their peers and can just reach out and process what happened for them. So it's not giving case guidance or anything along those lines, but more just to support a listening ear. And it's staffed by licensed professionals, so it's something that's available to them throughout the evening hours or anything that they may need after hours for support. And so we would be utilizing almost all of the remaining Transition Act funds to pay for this service and to help support our workforce.
Great, thanks for explaining that, Leanne.
Sure.
Obviously, these jobs are very difficult, lots of stress, lots of situations where you want to try to help make something better,
Yes,
but it's really, really difficult.
absolutely, absolutely.
Commissioner Concepcion, anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, these are really challenging jobs, and they're going into, new challenging situations every day. And I
Yes.
think having a resource like this is worth trying to see how it works out for
Yes,
for the
thank you.
staff.
Thank you.
Commissioner Dershowitz?
I'm sure it'll be successful. Thank you.
All right. Then I would move to add the contract with Lean In Systems and Solutions to next week's consent agenda.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second to add the contract with Lean In Systems and Solutions to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks,
you.
Leah.
Thank you, Lee.
And now Kathy has actually multiple items for us.
Yes,
Yes.
for a variety of items, actually, today for the commissioners. We'll start with the first two. The first is that we ask the board consider approving a rental agreement with Sinclair Child Services to use their Phillipsburg Mental Health Building Conference Room. Early Intervention is doing an autism reboot training. I assume it's a refresher training course for staff and their providers. There is no cost for the rental for the use of the room. Sinclair is donating the cost of that rental. But the rental agreement outlines the expectations and the use of the room, putting things back, not causing damage, all of those things. You still have to sign the agreement and that you're going to abide by the rules and expectations for the use of the room. There's no cost for the agreement, and the training date is scheduled for May 29th of 2025. The second item is an addendum to our agreement for drug and alcohol services with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania acting through the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs. We receive the majority of our funding for drug and alcohol comes through the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs, and that is done through a 5-year grant agreement. The current grant agreement runs through July 1st of 2020 through June 30th of 2025. That grant agreement includes a case management services manual, an operations manual, a fiscal manual, and a fiscal operations, case management service, and prevention manual. The updates and changes for those manuals are not quite ready. And so the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs is asking all counties to do an addendum to the current grant agreement through December 31st of 2025. So all of those updates and changes and everything can be completed. And so they're simply doing an extension of the existing manuals and the grant agreement through December 31st of 2025 so that money can continue to flow and that operations can continue to happen until all of those updates can happen. And then the next grant agreement will go into effect July 1st of 2026. So this, again, is simply to keep operations and everything happening for the next 6 months until everything it goes into place. So that we ask that the board consider approving addendum number 1 to our grant agreement with the Department of Drug and Alcohol Programs so that things continue to move forward.
Any questions from other commissioners on the first two? All right.
Then I will move to approve MHID, EI, DNA items 1 and 2.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the 2 items for MHID, EI, DNA. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay, motion carries. And then you've got 3 more.
Yes. The next 3 are contract renewals for the coming fiscal year. For early intervention. The first is a contract renewal with Sinclair Child Services for early intervention services. This includes occupational therapy, physical therapy, special instruction, speech pathology, and IFSP teaming. That is when 2 therapists need to be in the same session. Perhaps an occupational therapy and a speech therapist will consult during a session at the same time. IFSP teaming allows the second therapist to bill at the same time. For Sinclair, this contract totals $100,000. The majority of that is state. The county match is $10,000, which is the 10% match, and is for the time period July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The second contract renewal is with UPMC Home Health Care of Central Pennsylvania, doing business as home nursing agency. For early intervention services, occupational and physical therapy, special instruction, speech pathology, and IFSP teaming. This contract total is $50,000. 10% match for the county is $5,000 and is for July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. And the third is a contract renewal with EBN LLC for occupational and physical therapy, speech instruction, and speech pathology. Contract total $41,000. The county matches the 10%, $4,100, and same time period, July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. New fiscal year is here.
Thanks, Kathy, and these services are for toddlers and preschoolers, is that
Yes, birth to age 3.
Yeah. Great. Any questions on those three items?
No,
All right.
that was great.
I'll move to add the MHI, DEI, DNA items 3 through 5 to next week's consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to add items 3 through 5 for MHI, DEI, drug and alcohol to next week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a very short consent agenda.
Yeah, I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve this week's consent agenda. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Under authorities, boards, and commissions, we have as a resignation from our Aging Advisory Council. We'd like to thank Nathan Varner for his service from December 29th of 2020 to May 7th of 2025. And I believe we need a motion to accept that
I will
resignation.
move to accept the ABC resignation.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to accept the ABC resignation. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And moving on to letter of support, it's kind of a follow-up from last week. John will cover that briefly.
Yes, this is part 2 of a request for another letter of support for the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau grant application to the Marketing to Attract Tourists initiative through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development. This proposal is for the Happy Valley Antiques, Boutiques, and Suite Retreats experience.
Ooh, that sounds like fun. Also sounds like a lot of Bellefonte in there, too,
Probably, yeah.
and Phillipsburg. Ah. Yeah, any questions from the board on this follow-up? No?
Sounds
All right.
good. I'll move to approve the letter of support for the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau grant application.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support for the Happy Valley Adventure Bureau grant application. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Moving on to the check run, Commissioner Concepcion.
Yeah, the check that I'd like to point out today is for Housing Transitions. They're
yes.
one of our critical partners in, helping people who need emergency housing. And I think they are also going to be featured in Center Gives if you're interested in supporting a really worthy organization. With that, I would move that we approve the check run that is dated May 9th.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the check run dated May 9th. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And John, under Administrator's Report, I think you do have an item for us.
Yes, under Resolution 1 of 2025, the administrator has the ability to authorize emergency repairs, and we had such a case with the storm a couple weeks ago where a portion of the courthouse annex's roof had blown off. This was a copper tile type flashing that had come off, so I authorized an emergency repair of that, considering that we were having additional rainstorms that were coming through. That work has been completed, and the total amount was in $2,600. So we are, when emergency repairs are done like this, then I am to bring them back before the board for ratification.
Great, and just in the nick of time, too.
Yes.
Yes. Any questions from the board on that item?
No.
No? All right.
I'll move to ratify the administrator's authorization for the emergency roof repair on the courthouse annex in the amount of $2,600.
I will second that.
We have a motion and a second to ratify the administrator's authorization for emergency roof repair to the courthouse annex in the amount of $2,600. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And now Commissioner Concepcion with a voter registration report. Don't know if this is going to be our last one.
This
for a
is the
little while?
last one before the primary.
Okay.
Yep, so these are the numbers, these numbers should be final in terms of registration for this year's primary. So on our voter registration report today, we have 591 registered voters in Center County. That's down 13 from last week. And of those, we have 41,255 Democratic, 159 Green Party, 556 Libertarian, 15,537 with no affiliation, 42,067 Republican. All of the minor parties comprise 2,017, bringing us to that number of 101,591. Okay, so our precinct of the week this week is Precinct 5, Bellefonte West. There are 1,423 registered voters. They had a voter turnout of 68% on the November 5th general election. They vote at the Bellefonte Presbyterian Church at 203 North Spring Street in Bellefonte, and we would like to thank the church for the use of their space. And that's our last voter report before the May primary. And just a reminder that I think today is the final day to request a mail-in ballot if you're looking to use a mail-in ballot for voting in the election that's occurring 1 week from today. So.
And of course, the drop boxes will close at 9 a.m. next week, Monday morning.
That's right.
And now that our mail goes through Pittsburgh, if you don't get that out in the next day or two, you might want to drop it
Better
off
use
to
the drop box or bring it over here. Because you might not make it in time. Ballots have to be received if you're using a mail-in ballot, it has to be received by 8 p.m. on election day in our office. So can't just be postmarked.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner Concepcion. We do have some other announcements. The Center County Spring Job Fair is coming up. It's done between Pennsylvania Career Link of Center County and CBICC. The job fair will be held on Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at C3 Sports and Event Center, just past the mall at 200 Ellis Place. There will be more than 80 employers there, including Center County government, which has a number of open positions. The event is free to all job seekers and open to the public. This is the biggest job fair in the region, and we're incredibly fortunate and grateful to have organizations and resources available to ensure that the incredible skilled folks of Center County can find gainful and fulfilling employment. What's better, many of these employers are local, so that we can retain the talented people who make our community unique and prosperous. For those who are interested, grab your resume, come ready to mingle and ask questions, and get the chance to make connections which can continue to propel your career forward even after the job fair ends. And with 80-plus employers, you might want to get there early if you're going to be talking to a couple dozen of them. All right, additional announcements. The Board of Commissioners meeting next Tuesday has been canceled due to the election. And Center County government offices will be closed on Monday, May 26th in observance of Memorial Day. So we have a combined salary board and Board of Commissioners meeting this coming Thursday at 10. We have a Board of Elections meeting the following week, Thursday, the 22nd at 10, where we start going through all of the many mail-in and exceptions to the exception type ballots. That will continue into Friday the 23rd, also starting at 10 a.m. And then hopefully, if everything's running smoothly, on Tuesday, May 27th, we'll have the Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 and another Board of Elections meeting at 3 p.m. I think that's the pre-certification of the
Yeah, to
elections
do
on?
the unofficial results.
Yes. And Gary's favorite time, questions from the press.
Have any personnel needs, poll workers or anything else heading into election
I
next
think
week?
we're doing pretty well for poll workers at this time for this election. Yeah.
It sounds strange, a week from election and the number of registered voters is going down. Is that just the election office purging?
I think that's, as they're taking off voters who have not voted in some certain number of elections, or, there's other reasons if somebody's moved out of the area and
Obituaries,
registered
too.
somewhere else, obituaries. We don't usually see a big surge of registrations for off-year primaries.
They continue to talk, in fact, there's new out of Harrisburg this week about voter ID. But that's all proposals. I mean, next week it's still the same. There's nothing new for,
Nothing has changed from the last election.
Yeah, if you're voting for the first time at that particular precinct, you'll need to show photo ID. Otherwise, you're on the rolls.
will a mobile van be a mobile polling place?
Not exactly. So you would be able to do the same services that you could do in our elections office in terms of being able to pick up registration materials, drop off registration materials, ask for a mail-in ballot and have it printed on the spot, and you can fill it out and turn it in. So you can do that. It's a way to use a mail-in ballot to vote early in person, but the intent is not for it to be a polling place per se.
Will the county have a separate count office for next week's election or not? Or you be able to,
I'm sorry.
you know,
could
we
repeat?
use Penn State sometimes.
We are using the Penn Stater is where all the mail-in ballots will be counted.
Could this conceivably be the last election?
It will be. We expect to be able to do that all at our Community Services Building for the November election.
Okay.
Yep. So our Elections Department will be moving sometime in midsummer to the new Community Services Building. We'll have a lot more space, both for training poll workers and for all of that ballot counting and equipment storage. It'll be really a nice benefit. So.
Sheena, any questions?
Great questions. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you.
Looks like we could take a motion to adjourn.
so-
Oh, John's got something?
Yeah, there are no executive sessions to report.
Oh, sorry.
However, there is a need to hold an executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Sorry, I skipped over that one in between the announcements and the public meeting.
Well, this actually flows better, actually.
It
You're
does
right, it
actually.
does. It's a good
Do that at the
reminder.
end.
All right, so we're not adjourning. We
We are-
are recessing and going into personnel matter.
So I will move to enter executive session at 11:08.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to enter executive session at 11:08. All those in favor do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. We're going into executive session.